So we're pulling up to this thing today. And because of a scene of unfortunate events, I get to transport this by driving it. They always kill the batteries when it comes to leaving the keys in the ignition and leaving door chimes on. So I gotta jump it, but then I'll tell you all about this. I think I figured out what killed it, because that's kind of the common thing at the ports. Just adjusting my mirrors before I hit on the road. At the ports, this is what they normally do. Is these Toyotas and Nissans, old Nissans, they have this button, so they leave it on accessory mode instead of turning it off. And so the radio was on the entire time, causing it to die. But this one's a turbo. I don't know if it's turbo, actually. I know it's diesel, but I don't know if it's turbo. But it's like almost 100 degrees out here today. Let me crank these windows down, and then I'll show you the driving portion of this. For starters, this is not mine. I was asked to transport this for a friend, Ray, who lives in Milford. This thing reminds me of my Atlas Loco that I used to have back in the day. It was one of the first imports that I imported here, but it just feels like a beefier version of that. Explain in a minute. So for starters, it is a Toyota, so you get the Toyota name behind this. It is an older one. I'll try to confirm before I edit this video, but I want to say it's early 90s if I'm not mistaken. Like I said, this one has a diesel engine with 114,860 kilometers, which for these Toyota diesel engines, it's hardly anything. This one has just been done up. Ray had it done. It's actually done up by Grand Auto.
That's not wanted.
What?
That's not wanted.
This is the one you want?
Yeah, man, but I don't got money.
I know. This one's 20,000.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just country like that, you know. What's that? Three cylinder?
No, this one's 4-cylinder.
Four?
Yeah, 4. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. But this is a full size. This is a big one. Yeah, it's nice, right? Yeah.
Where you from out there?
Japan.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, have a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Literally happens to me every time I drive one of these funky JDMs. Well, but now you're getting the driving portion because I got distracted here. That's third gear. We're at 60 kilometers here. We're gonna hop on the freeway here, see what kind of driving this is. So we're starting from third gear. We're at 60 kilometers, going up to 80. Fourth gear at 80 kilometers. It's kind of a smooth ride, believe it or not. I don't know why that seems surprising to me. It is a Toyota after all. See, we're at 105 up to 110. Now we'll get into fifth. And this is buttery, not buttery smooth, but nice and tight. Like, it's not floppy and loose like some of the other ones. And it handles the bumps pretty decent. You know, it's still a truck, so yeah. But I'll report some more as I drive more. So I think comfortably on the highway you could be anywhere between 100 and 120, which in retrospect seems kind of low for a full-size vehicle like this, but, and I know K-cars do the same thing, but I think people have the weird negative connotations of what a K-car is capable of as opposed to what a regular full-size is capable of. You have to remember, in Japan, they made all cars so, as dumb as it sounds, to be equal, so that when they drive on the road, they are equal. I mean, you have supercars, you know, that are out there that are faster, and there ultimately are super fast cars, but for an everyday vehicle like this, a vehicle like this in Japan is meant to be a work vehicle. It's not meant to be winning street races. So you're probably going to be loaded up with cargo. You're going to be going places with your employees because it's a 6-seater, which is really cool. And I'll show a little bit more of that a little bit later, but it's meant to be a workhorse. And obviously us Americans or other people in the world want them because we think they're so cool, and because we paint them in this camo color or in this desert color, and it becomes really, really cool. We add some nubby tires and do certain things that just give it that flair and that jazz and that pop. So we're different. You know, when you're looking at a car here in America, this car stands out like a sore thumb. Like, not even joking. All right, so we just made it here to Milford to drop it off, and yeah, let's quickly talk about this. Not quickly, but let's just talk about this and why I think Americans love it and why I think it's a cool truck, and I think maybe one of the cooler trucks that Japan has to offer. We'll just kind of give you a quick 360 of it so you kind of get an idea of it. But overall, I think it's a cool truck. The front end is not my favorite. It's not the worst, but it's not the best. I think it's a little dated, to be honest with you, but I still think it looks pretty badass on this truck for some reason. Like, just the whole look of it is not bad at all. I mean, I don't mind it. I think it kind of looks, I don't even know, kind of like a Mad Max look to the front end, to be honest with you. I do love that it has fog lights and that the fog lights are yellow. This is a Toyota Dyna, so D-Y-N-A. Again, I'll confirm the year, but overall, I mean, it's just like a four-door cab is really what it is. I wonder if that opens. No, it looks like it's bolted up, but it almost looks like a way for it to open and expose things. So quickly move locations. It's under the shade. The sun's kind of bright today. It's in the high 90s here. So yeah, I think overall it's a really cool truck. I love the concept. I love the idea of it. I don't think these were made to be more than just what they are, which is a workhorse. And I think now they're made to be kind of like an everyday vehicle. So I mean, if you notice, this is a single wheel variant, both for the front and the back. They usually come with dually in the rear sometimes. And what they'll do is they'll put like a 13 or 14 inch here and then like a 12 and a half in the back with two dualies in the rear. But overall, Ray had it repainted in this more like bed liner texture paint. So it's got some texture to it. And again, he did it in like that desert storm color, I guess you can call it. He had the bed painted black. Same thing with what's it called? Interesting. Wonder what this lock was for. Wonder if it was a lock for the pin. Had the bed painted in like this bed liner like paint. I mean, it's still an older vehicle. What's nice is that they did take care of it and they painted it. Doesn't seem like it has any rot or rust anywhere that's really crazy to report. I think it had a headache rack before and it got removed. Here's Grand Auto's information. If you're looking to do something like this, I know that this is one of the things that they pride themselves is they'll buy a vehicle for you at the auction, and then on top of buying the vehicle for you at the auction, they'll also do it up all crazy like this. But we'll put the tailgate down and you can kind of see, and I don't have my tape measure on me, but if I was to guess, let's see, 1, 2, 3. So I would guess this is probably a 6.5 foot bed, and it's let's see how wide it would be. If we do 1, 2, it's like 2.5, so probably like around 4 feet wide, maybe a little wider than that. Whatever the width of the truck is, that's the width of the bed, which is really nice, so you can kind of see. So the bed's nice and big. It does have the big wheel welts. If you did get the dually variant, the dually wheels are usually so much lower that this is almost flat, so it's not even here, so you actually have like a full flatbed in the back. So that's pretty cool. It's cool that they use all like the same latch system that pretty much K-trucks use and all the trucks in general in Japan. Ray did opt to have this have a hitch installed with it, which is pretty cool. So there's a hitch installed with it with wiring, so trailer wiring already set up with it. It's kind of weird. I don't know if we have this in America, but I guess this is the way that Japan does it. And the way that they were able to ship it was they bolted it to the side of the truck here. So this is bolted there, but this is where you would put your hitch. So I don't know if we have any round hitches here in America, but it's nice and heavy duty. 285 pounds, and that hitch holds up well. I'd be curious to see what the tow rating on this is. I'm not really quite sure, but I bet it could handle a lot. Reason being is because it's a heavier duty frame, so it's on a truck frame, and it also has that diesel engine. You probably won't win any races because of it, but it's still cool that somebody decided to add a hitch to it. I will be the first to say it kind of looks a little funky for me. I wish almost that the hitch was installed up here, so it would have came out here and then relocated the plate somewhere else. Not quite sure as to why they put it so low, because you probably have maybe 1.5 feet or 2 feet of space between where the bottom of the hitch is and the floor or the road. I think maybe putting it up here and then putting it tucked away closer wouldn't look as weird, because I feel like it's almost like missing a bumper here. And so they have the plate where the plate holder is, where the plate normally goes, and then right there you'll see that there's another spare here, full-size spare for it, that would fit either the front or the rear. And you can see the kind of tires that it was made to have here. I wish Ray would have put a tire that would have matched these tires, because it would have been so much better, but I think they look great the way that they are. They still kept the original mud flaps, which is cool. And you still have the tie downs here on the side of the bed, which I think is very, very good for when you're just towing, or not towing, but when you're hauling cargo in general. You have something to strap into, because there's nothing else really to hold on to except here, these hooks. But I don't know how strong these hooks would actually be. So no headache rack, which is cool. There is this pass-through window like a normal pickup truck out here. But look at this. Whoever had this truck was a baller back in Japan. I'll show the inside in a second, but I really wanted you to get an idea. I do like that they have steps everywhere. I know that somebody in Japan has actually taken a newer version of this and actually body lifted it. Not physical lift, but they put a body lift which leveled out the front and made the back look higher. And then with that, they were able to fit a bigger size rim and tire on there that were like more beefier. But speaking of rim and tires, these are actually really nice. They're Renegades RT. I've never heard of them. But it's really cool. They are knobby tires, and they did great. They didn't make too much noise on the road, which was a nice thing. They were nice and sturdy on the road. The truck is itself nice and sturdy on the road, as you saw me driving it. Like I said, the most comfortable speed. It's not my truck, and so I really didn't want to push it. I think it can go more than 120. At one point, I think I got it downhill without really pushing it. It's just a rolling motion. I think I hit closer to 128 kilometers per hour, which is really cool. But really, in reality, it's not really meant to haul super fast. It's meant to just get you places from point A to point B when you're working. So yeah, overall it's cool. I do like that they're full-size doors on the rear of it. This one's locked, but you get full-size doors. You get access to the back, which is pretty big. And one thing that I thought was notable, that I should say, that Ray had them do, is they painted the inside to match the color of the outside. Because often what you'll find will happen is people in Japan will paint these and they'll be like really nice colors, and then you get on the inside and they're like filthy and disgusting, or they're like just the same white color that they normally are. It looks like this is for coolant over here. So and you could see that the original color was white. There is access to the engine. For the rear of the engine's here, for the front of the engine's there, and I'll show that in a minute. It looks like the bottom seats, the bottoms must have been ripped and they probably just reupholstered it, or maybe had another seat kicking around that had this upholstery on it. So they don't match, which is not the end of the world. I think reupholstering these seats would be cool anyways. What's cool is it does have a headliner. Again, normally they don't normally have headliners. Let's see if this light works. Sometimes they do. Oh, it does, which is pretty cool that it does. We'll leave it on the off position so it doesn't kill the battery. And normally there is an ashtray here, but it's probably been broken from the start. They do have this bar that goes across, which I think is okay. The reason it's there is because it supports this back piece, and we'll release that back piece and I'll show you what's there. But it really limits the driver's seat to really fold back or do much more. Like I said, very, very similar to the Atlases. As far as the outside goes, that's pretty much it. The only other notable thing that I'll show is, let me hop up on the bed here, is Ray opted to have this awesome roof rack, which was pretty expensive, he said. So they added this roof rack to the top of it, which makes it look really cool. Gives it like that Baja design, I guess you could say, where you could throw stuff up on there. So not only do you have the bed, but then you also have the roof rack, and then you can add probably lights to it and run wires on this pretty easily, because you could probably just snake them in through here somewhere on the roof and make a hole, and it wouldn't look bad. Any other notable features? I mean, you got nice beefy mirrors, you have wipers, it's all pretty standard, and then you have your antler here, which gives you to see how far your front bumper is from anything. Again, fog lights are cool. I really think that's awesome. It's interesting how they did the double lights. One's a low beam and the other one's a high beam. I would replace those all with LEDs if I can find LEDs that are the same size. But let's go into the interior. The interior is very comical again, and this isn't the shade or Ray or anybody else that does this. I think it's cool to do this, but the truck looks really cool with the paint job and everything. And then you get in the inside and you realize it's dated in some places, right? Like, so you see the door cards are pretty dated. They're really sun faded. And again, it's not to throw shade, but I just think it's interesting how people really love to do these with trucks. And don't get me wrong, I would do it, but I think if you're doing a truck all up like this, I would go all crazy with the interior as well. Like, change this, maybe have this reupholstered to like be Alcantara or leather. And that's really to an extreme. You don't need that And I'm saying it's really extreme. You really don't need that. But I'm saying if you're trying to go for that resto mod look where, you know, the people that take the Land Rovers or Land Cruisers and they redo them to be really nice. Some of them do this where they will redo the interior, make the interior look really nice, and others won't. It looks like that's the light feature for when you open and close the door. Yeah, it is. That's cool. So yeah, pretty cool, pretty interesting. I think for another modification that I would do is I'd probably remove the steering wheel. It's just a dated steering wheel, and I'd put like a Momo or like a Nardi. A Nardi actually would look really cool inside this truck. I think it would give it a really good look. They did take out the carpet, which is kind of unfortunate, and they put this. Normally the carpet that would be in here would be this like leather looking gray carpet, so that's normally what's in here. But like I said, they did paint most of it up to here, and then, you know, otherwise they don't take the dash out or anything like that. So, but for the most part, it's clean. It's all here. It's low kilometers, which is a great thing. And that's also, you'll see like carpets or rugs that are original that are going to be like that. But yeah, so in here you don't have a tachometer, which is interesting. Some models do come with a tachometer and others don't. This one happens to be the variant that doesn't. You have your fog light switch here on the right. You have your blinker selector and your high and low beam and your lights here, and then your wipers to turn them on and off. And then here's where it's interesting. I love this kind of design. I think this old school look to it's pretty cool. The downside to this truck is it does not come with AC. And a lot of it, this is usually what happens. They don't come with AC because, again, they're work vehicles. So in the minds of, you know, a business owner out in Japan, like, my employees don't need air conditioning. They're just going to be in the truck to go and from there and kind of move on and go from there. So they never came with this. If you saw these, interesting enough too, these were fire trucks. They never came with it. They said only if it was like the fire marshal, like the head fire guy, his truck would come with air conditioning. But for the most part, you will not see them with air conditioning. And if you do, grab it up, snatch it up, because they usually tend to go for pretty big money. Because this is a diesel variant, it does have a high idle control switch, which is this little knob. It's kind of like in a Cessna. You can control your throttle with it. So you turn this up and the throttle will go up. This one, I think, would be a great candidate for a double din radio. They opted to not put a double din and they put this, but I told Ray he should just get rid of the cup holder. He said, oh, it has a cup holder. And I said, yeah, but the cup holders really don't do much nowadays. I feel like you can get cup holders somewhere else or get one of the bouncy ones here instead of dealing with this. So has that, has an ashtray, which, oh, nice. One of the Jesus clips is here for the window crank. And then you have your outlet here. Did not test to see if that works. It did come with an ETC reader, so this vehicle did travel a whole lot while it was in Japan, because this makes it seem that it went from place to place quite often, which that's what you need. It's basically the tolls of Japan. So ETC, there's usually a credit card that goes in there for the, or an ETC card is what they call it. Glove box is huge, very big actually. Quite surprising how big this glove box actually is. I don't know what you would need to fit in there, but I guess you could fit your lunchbox. And then again, you have cup holders on this side, so that's another thing that, you know, if Ray wanted to think about, he could do that as well. It looks like it's just missing one screw here to put this back on, and it looks like the screws might be right there. So yeah, for the most part, that's cool that you have cup holders there. This is really nice. And then it looks like they have it for paper, so you can put paper there, like files or whatever. I believe if you translate this means that if you go into deep water, I think you can pull this, and basically in the air box, it closes it off so that it doesn't suck in water through the air filter. If I'm not mistaken, that's what it was when I was looking at it on another truck. But if we move my backpack out of the way here, and we come to here, there's a latch here, and this releases a seat. And then you have another, normally this is pretty stretchy, but it's been stretched out. But then you have what to be like maybe a lunch tray. So when you're sitting inside your truck, you can eat your lunch. As I showed this before, this is interesting too. You have a way that if you want to move the driver over without putting this in a place you don't want to, you can do that as well. Under here, if we undo this latch, which I had to do earlier because while you're driving it actually gets quite hot. Let's go to the other side. We come over to this side, we lift this up. This is where you expose the engine. And let me see if I remember where the hood prop is. They're all different in all these cars, but sometimes it's like there's a string or something that attaches here. But this is just looks to be like inline 4 diesel engine. So it's not turbo diesel, it's just a regular diesel, which is interesting. But nevertheless, you still have enough power to ride. Now, if you're towing, I don't know that you'll be able to win races with it, but you'll still be able to get up and go without any crazy amounts of issues. What's nice is this does give you a ton of room to be able to get under here and access things. So doing an oil change will be pretty easy. You know, getting to your coolant is there. Your thermostat is probably right there, and overall is all there. And I think you can undo the driver's seat too if you unbolt it. I think there might be an access panel to the right side of the engine as well. So that's the engine in this, which is pretty nice. It's pretty simple. And yeah, they painted all around it, which is nice. Passenger door, same thing, nice and simple. Now if you get into the rear here, which is really well, let me show you this because I often forget to show you this. I'm 6 feet tall. I'm in this seat here as a passenger. My back is kind of on the flatter side, but I think it'd be comfortable for long hauls. I think it wouldn't be bad. I think if you're a passenger here, being that this is here, it's probably meant more for somebody that's really skinny, like my brother-in-law, or like a smaller child. The nice thing is it does have a lap belt here, so you do have access to put a lap belt on here for safety, and you have a regular seat belt on this side. So I mean, you'll have plenty of room. I think even if I was to be sitting here in the middle, the hump, it's a little harder because you're sitting on top of a hump, and then somebody could sit there. When they're shifting, this would definitely be annoying. I think second gear is the worst of it. If you have a big guy like me, fourth, you have enough room in the fifth. So if you're highway driving, this isn't bad. I mean, if you're highway driving and you really want to move that out of the way, you really could, because you could do that, but I wouldn't do that for safety reasons. But driver's seat still has plenty. Let me sit on there so you get an idea of what that is. So we come into the driver's seat here. Ouch, I just whacked my head. Ouch. I don't know why I whacked my head, I never do. Grab this handle, I thought this was much higher, but driver's seat for me, it's comfortable. It's not K-truck size, which is nice. Width is nice. The only thing I will say, this does get hot because the engine and the cooling and everything is right here. The radiator is right there as well, so this gets hot. And I did notice, because it doesn't have the normal carpet that it should have, if you put your leg up against there, it gets kind of hot. So that's something that might need to get covered up in the future. And normally all this is covered up by something like this, but when they were probably redoing it, they removed it all. But overall, I have a ton of space. This does not telescope or tilt forward. I know some of the newer models, I believe they did telescope and move forward, but at least in the Atlas, I remember it did. But this, I mean, again, I think for driving long distances, what's nice is it's a full-size pedal like that, so I can rest my foot and keep gas on there. Clutch actually grabs really nice on this, and then you have your e-brake here. You just simply pull it, ratchet it, and then you press the button and turn it, and it releases the e-brake, which is really nice. Let's go to the back. Getting out is kind of funky because it is kind of on the higher side. Sometimes you just have to do that and then do this. If you're shorter, this is definitely going to be a little bit harder to get in and out of. It's interesting that they have this step here, which allows you, I guess, to give access to the roof. But if we come to the back here, we can see that there's plenty of room. This is like a couch back here. So you have plenty of room back here. These are the mats that are supposed to go in the back. But also this seat does pull up and move out of the way. Looks like it is missing the jack, but it does have 3 seat belts, so you can legally transport 6 people in this vehicle without any issues. If I get back here, it is more of a flatter back, so it is flat back. It's not the most comfortable, but it's not the most uncomfortable. I think you have still plenty of room. I mean, if you don't mind sitting like this or like open leg, I think it should be fine. Let's see back here. If I open this window, that's got to get put back on, put back together correctly with the Jesus clip, because it's missing the Jesus clip. It looks like somebody gooped it with something to get it to stay on there. So put that back. It's nice. I don't mind it. You know, I think I wouldn't be super comfortable for like, say, 10-12 hours. I think if it was back here, it would be not too bad. But Ray, I did find all 4 of these. They're all going to be there. These smaller ones are for the for the back windows, and these bigger ones are for the bigger windows back in the front. So I think there's plenty of room. I think 3 normal size adults would be okay. I think this hump for the other adult might be kind of annoying. They might encroach in your leg room. Like they might have to do something like this or something. I don't know. Maybe it's not the most comfortable. I think for kids back here it would be perfect. I know that we've done it with our boys here before, and it hasn't been an issue or anything. Get some airflow in here. It's really hot today. Your battery is located under here, as you saw earlier when I jumped it. So yeah, pretty much that's it. I think if I had to sleep across this, like if I had no choice, if I was doing like an overnighter driving this, towing a car, let's see. I think I can manage. I like that it's flat and it doesn't have anything that intrudes in my way, which is really nice. I could probably open the window and sleep out this way and just hang out. So yeah, I mean, it's not terrible. I think if I had a pillow and I had to just like scrunch up, it would be okay. This bottom seat's actually super comfortable, believe it or not. But yeah, for the most part, again, very, very basic and simple door cards. Nothing to write home about or say anything crazy about them. They just have a feature to open and close the doors and to put the window down, and then obviously your handle to close the door and open the door. Putting power windows on this would probably be cake. The only thing that you would have to do is probably put holes in the doors to run the power window button somewhere. But you would just have to put, obviously, the thing that you saw earlier for the power button, or not for the power button, for the, whatchamacallit, for the actual motor window to go up and down. These are interesting. Sometimes I look at these doors and it looks like they're a perfect square, and sometimes you see that they'll have this over here too. So it was almost made to be like these doors you can almost interchange from side to side. But if we open this, this is the only thing that changes. So it's interesting. It's interesting to see that kind of stuff where they saved money by making the same essentially a rectangular square. But overall, cool truck. I love that they put Toyota in big letters in the back. I mean, one thing you'll see is this was a work vehicle, so by no means is like the body perfect, because this was at some point, this probably had dirt, ladders, paint, who knows, on the back of it. And if you look at it closely, it'll have its love bruises on it. But diesel tank is back here. Simple. You just have to, most of the time, the key that turns on the ignition will also be the key that opens the gas tank, which is cool safety precaution, so that no one can steal your diesel or no one can put something inside the diesel tank that you don't want them to put. So yeah, overall, cool. Now the question becomes, would I buy this to tow? I guess unless it was spec'd out with air conditioning. I don't know. I like the idea of it. I love the idea of it. I think what this would be really cool to do would be to buy it and then have it all done up like really, really, really nice. And then probably the back, it would have like some sort of camper in the back of it. So picture like a camper back here, so you can pretty much go anywhere you want, or just leave the bed that it is, the way that it is, and do like how the Overlanders do it and put a tent on the back. Or if you even want to go a step further, leave it that way. Put the roof tent on the roof of the truck, and then you have activities for the back to put like dirt bikes or regular bicycles or electric bikes. And what's cool about it is it does have a hitch, so if you don't want to do that or this, you can just tow a trailer behind it to go wherever you want to go. It is cool. It is diesel. It is Toyota, so you're getting the reliability of that. Can these things break down? Yes. Will they happen? Yes, at some point in its life. I think it's inevitable. I think you can probably look and see that you have a 2010 and up vehicle and you have to maintain those cars or do some sort of service to those cars all the time. So I think it's realistic to think that at some point you're going to have to invest money into any vehicle that you buy from Japan. But overall, I think this is a cool car. I know that Ray was toying with the idea of maybe keeping this one or a blue one that he has, which is, I think it's another Toyota. It's a newer one. That one does have AC. So I think he was gonna, if he was gonna keep this one, then he wasn't gonna sell it. I think he said if he was gonna sell it, he would probably list it for like anywhere from 20 to 25,000 the way that it sits, because it was actually very expensive to get it, to get painted, to get the roof rack, get the wheels, the tires. I think the wheels might be stock, but like the tires, and overall just to have them do up what they've done to it, it's very expensive. So it's not a cheap thing to do. So that's why the price tag comes there. But you can kind of shop around and look at it. If you're very motivated to buy it and you're watching this video, reach out to me. I'll put you in contact with Ray, and I'm sure we can make a deal happen that will make you and Ray both happy with some sort of number near that. But anyways, I think that's where I'll leave this video. Comment below, would you buy one of these or would you get something else? I think I'm a firm believer that my pickup truck that was actually wrecked 2 days ago, I loved it for what it was. I think I still like the creature comforts of, like, even a 2006 Chevy Silverado had some of the creature comforts that I like. But but I wouldn't mind having one of these. I mean, as an everyday truck, I think this would be great. It's diesel, so you'll get great fuel economy depending on what you're doing. And it's just going to turn heads like crazy. So even if you wanted this for, you know, for coffees and carburetor and put something cool in the back, like a chopper or something like that, whatever could actually fit, that would be cool too. I mean, the sky's the limits with what you can do with these. So yeah, comment below, what would you get? Or would you still take your Chevy 1500, 2500, 3500 over this? I think this is the closest thing that we can maybe compare to like a Chevy out there. Obviously they still get Chevys out there, the people can still order them and send them out there, but normally the Hiluxes seem to be the more of the pickup truck that people go to. They don't really have big pick-em-ups there like we do here, where people have a Raptor and they don't really use a Raptor other than to tow their tow their bicycles with, which in reality you can get a hitch for the back of your car and, you know, throw your bike on that instead of getting a full-size Raptor, you know. So I think a good competition to this would be this F-150 that's pulling up right here, you know. But again, it's really hard to compare them. It's really difficult to compare them. I think an F-150 is its own class, and it's like, American cars are really hard to compare with Japanese cars. And the way that Japanese do business, the way that they create the cars that they drive, it has a purpose. It has a specific purpose. And I feel like Americans just say, let's make it as bigger and better as possible. And they don't really think about it. Like that, you know, that Raptor is probably $30,000+ or more. The newer ones are probably going for 80. And then if you think about it, this is like 2025. And sure, it's over 25 years old, but this will still probably not outrun it as far as speed, but this will still be alive. Meanwhile, those will be in somebody's collection because they just don't survive the times. As opposed to these, you'll see these in like Africa going up, you know, putting people on the back, giving them tours, or you'll see them in other countries, third world countries, where they literally have a hole through them and the engine's really what's worth the money, and they're using like a cable to drive it. That's a very real thing, by the way. I've seen it all over the place, like on the internet. But yeah, for now, let me know what you think. One thing I forgot to show was the fog lights in action. Pretty cool. Also, I will say Ray has a ton of cool vehicles that are for sale. I know he has a sandbar that's supercharged at that with rims. That one's, I'm pretty sure, is ready to go, which is pretty cool. He has a Forza. I didn't even realize it was a Forza. Nissan, what do they call these? I used to know the name so well for this, but oh my gosh, Rasheen, that's what it was. With a sunroof on the top, and you could put a basket on this thing, or even like what do you call that, a rooftop tent, and this would be pretty cool. What wouldn't surprise me is this is a 4-wheel drive variant that they do offer it, but it looks pretty cool. It is automatic. But then on top of selling this one, he does also have this Nissan Atlas that's fully fire truck that is actually in really clean, great shape. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I can put you in contact with Ray. I know this one has super low kilometers, super nice, and it's got that nice cool emblem on the front of it. And it's a newer one. I don't believe it has AC, but still, nevertheless, it's cool. But yeah, we'll quickly look at it. Look how clean the frame is. This thing barely probably moved. Doesn't look like it's the AC model, but it looks like it's still in really great shape. But again, it's just basically like that one. What's cool is most of it is all off. I'd probably rip all the remaining stuff off and make this more into a flatbed than what it currently is. And you have this nice color Rasheen, which is actually in pretty great shape. I don't think it's open, but it's not bad nevertheless. It's pretty cool. Interesting that it has these windows. They're like plastic too, which is kind of nuts. And then the supercharged sandbar. So yeah, if you're interested in any of these, if you're watching this video, shoot me a text or reach out to me. I'll put you in contact with Ray. For now, we're gonna head out. There was one more. This is pretty cool too. It looks like they painted it from here to the back. I think, oh yeah, this was a variant that had power windows. I don't know if it was added to it or if it came stock like that, which is kind of interesting. So he's got this one too, if you're interested in this one. I don't know if he's gonna keep this one or if he's gonna sell this one, but it is automatic. I know some people were looking for an automatic one. Triple cup holders that I never seen before, which is interesting. I got this new ride. This is quite interesting. So I don't even know the year. It's probably some sort of 2020 something. But we got an F-150. There's one car that still need to get delivered. That's for Julio's family. And I'm sorry, Julio, if you're watching this. I'm sorry, Al. Like I promised, I was trying to do everything and anything not to have to, you know, be so late to begin with. But they wanted it trailered. I will be 100% honest. It was driven from Jersey to here. It did great, which is the upside. That's like the greatest part about it. But I needed to finish the last request. The trailer's still here. I don't know how functional it is. That's the other thing I wanted to find out is from the accident, did anything get affected that I should know, that insurance should know? I know the lights are probably not working properly is one of the things, so I have to look into that. Whatever from the accident, I don't know if it smashed the wiring or something. We have dangling wires, so we'll see what insurance does for that. They totaled the truck out. And still no word of whether or not I'll get rental, so this is out of my pocket, but because this needs to go on and Mendy Imports needs to go on, we still need to do things. So we got the whole family packed in here, which is actually very spacious, right, compared to our last truck. So yeah, we have the entire family, and now we're headed to deliver the last truck from the last, what's it called, chip. This 150 turd. Let's see, we're gonna top it all off. I mean, gas is kind of expensive, but holy smokes. We're at a quarter tank and it filled up with $66.82. That's kind of nuts if you ask me, but yeah. All right, so we made it to drop off the Acti to its new home. Julio's brother-in-law. So, and there's that Atlas that is 4-wheel drive, potentially might be for sale. We'll have to ask Julio how much he wants for that one, but for now we're gonna hit the road. So just for kicks and giggles, we were at the Chevy dealership and we came to see what the cheapest pickup truck is. This one happens to be at $18,000. I think it's this one. So we're taking a look at this one that potentially will be the one that we look at. Hey, ven de vuelta por acá. Maybe it's not this one. Maybe it is. I don't know. So we're waiting to see. He said it might be on the grass, so we'll look. But this might be. We'll see. Very scary moments in our lives here, but Megan's worried, I'm worried. It's not perfect by any means, but guess what? It's going to do the job. It's funny that I had the truck and trailer. We drove past here to get the Julio's, and I said, we got to stop in there and see if we can buy a truck. And of course, I buy the shiniest red truck that they have in the stock. So shout out to them, Ingersoll Chevy, over here where I'm at. I don't even know where I'm at, but they took care of me. So I sent it on the family chat, and my sister automatically asked, hey, what's the name of it? And let's put it to you this way. Her last dog's name was Toby, and he used to always get red rockets, and this is the red rocket. So the new name is what, Megan? Toby, because it toes and it's a bee. Toby. I don't know, but yeah, the name of it is Toby, and it's significant. Yeah, thanks. What's significant about this is it all lined up perfectly, but look at the last 3 digits of the VIN, 55555, which means significant change and personal growth. So it all starts with this. But first, enjoy the boys enjoying this, especially Fig. Look at him. What's up, dude? All right, so officially it's no longer the Mendy Mobile. Pulled the last little things like license plates, my personal belongings, and these LED lights that are probably gonna end up on this truck somewhere. So pulled those off, emptied out any belongings that were ours, and hopefully this will leave to its new home soon. It's a sad day, but hey, it's a turning point from that to this, and we're excited. Hopefully this brings many more. Don't get me wrong, this truck is by no means perfect, but what I was saying is it's no longer my truck like that was. This is Mendy Imports' truck now. It's a business truck, and that's what I got to treat it as. So yeah, I'll do a full video on this because I think it deserves it and what it is. But I'm sweating bullets, and I got to go to church.